What's good? This is your boy Internal Sadist, and this is going to be the eat a dick version of the response video because even though I said I wasn't going to make one, I kind of figured I might as well make one because I did use stats from 2017 because I already know what a lot of people are going to come back to. Well, you use old stats, bro. Well, I only used old stats so I can actually make your narrative even look good so I can actually be a nice person. Then I realized I was being too nice and I'm not the internal sadist for no fucking reason. It's that simple. So if you're the problem with portion narratives is when people try to portion narrative, they portion it so they can actually promote something else. I'm not accusing him of promoting something else, but it sounds like he's promoting something else to me, for all intents and purposes. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to statistics, he's basically using statistics so he can try to promote, you know, a certain community. We ain't gonna say no names, but this is what this eat a dick video is pretty much for. The sad part about that is if you look at these lovely numbers from 2000, 2019, which is the most updated version of the census from the United States, because apparently they haven't got their count back yet, so they're still working on it. So they got to go off of 2019 for their thing, which is actually pretty nice. But I'm gonna take you back to 2017, so you can see the difference between what happened and which was happening in the black community in the 2017 to 2019, and it's only been 2 years. So check this shit out. Now I bought this up in 2017. This is the black population per capita. I mean, this is the black population in the United States in 2017. That is roughly about 41. I gave them 41 and a half million black people that lived in the United States in 2017. The funny thing about that is, the funny thing about that is, I used this number because I knew the other number would pretty much destroy a narrative, and I was trying to be nice. So I used 2017 instead of 2019 just to be nice. And the sad part about that, I realized that if I did that, people was going to say, "Well, Tico, you're being too nice." And yeah, they would be right. So I got to make this eat a dick video now because of that. And this is typically how it works. This is 20. This is 20. This is 20. This is 2017 right here. Now check this out. Here goes 2019 for black people. 2019, y'all. 2 years later. These motherfuckers get on my nerves with this bullshit. 2019 numbers. It jumped. Whoo, 6 million. Can anybody say 6 million? 6 million much? 6 million? 6 million. 6 million. 6 fucking million. 6 fucking million. There's a lot of single mothers out there getting dick down basically in the black community. Well, that's what it looks like to me in 2 years. A lot of single mothers getting dick down right now. And the sad part about that, we've already talked about the fact that there's the black woman to black male population is fairly even in the United States. It's pretty much even. There's really almost no difference besides the fact if, like, about 2 or 3 million black men decide to run out and get killed tomorrow. There's really no difference in the dividing line between, black men to black women ratio is basically the same for all intents and purposes. But yeah, it jumped up to 4.7. I mean, 47.4 million in 2 years. That means there's a lot of black women getting their backs blown out. That kind of sort of fucks up your narrative when you talk about like all this stuff where single motherhood on a rise and the black community is doing real good. Kind of sort of fucks up your narrative, doesn't it? And the sad part about that, don't worry, wait. I'll get to the Colombians because they only jump like one. They only jump like a million. It's that they only jumped a million from 2017 till now. So here's a funny thing about that, and I'm about to go lead y'all into the Colombian one. That's the black community in 2019, the most recent the most recent count that they took, because apparently their census isn't back yet, apparently in the United States, which is slow as hell. I don't understand how this fucking is slow. But we'll run with this. We'll run with this, and we'll say that they're probably doing a good job, and they're all doing their jobs diligently to count up everybody and tell everybody properly. So I'll let them slide on that number because they do have more people in the United States. However, they don't got that many niggas, so they should be able to count that shit up real quick. Well, then again, no, I shouldn't say that because niggas are growing exponentially in America. There you go. So yeah, I can understand why they can't count up all the niggas in America basically on a regular basis for the fact that they're growing exponentially. Um, Next one, we're going to look at Colombia's numbers, how much they grew for 3 years, because this is the 2000. Well, this is 2019, but this say 2020 uh, uh, number count for all intents and purposes, but it's really 2019, and they only grew. Will you look at that? Will you look at that? Now I gotta blow that screen up now. Shit. Let's zoom in on this screen. Basically, it's 50 million. It's basically it's 50 million right here. It's 50 million, 50 million eight. So it's under a million. It's under a million growth for all intents and purposes because it was at what before it was that basically says 50 million eight is the population. Let me try to find a bigger. Let me see if I can find something where it's actually it shows up bigger. Nope, doesn't show up bigger on that one. 2020. Yeah, so it's actually Colombia's 2020 is what this is looking like. $50 million eight. A 1.8% growth from last year, a 1.3, a 1.37 growth from 2008, a 1.5% growth since 2007. Um, so they only grow like at the rate of 1%, whereas blacks grow at a exponential rate. And the sad part about that is, like I was saying, they're only at 50 million. They're sitting at roughly 58 million, 58 million 800. I mean 58. I mean I'm sorry, 50,882,891 is what they're sitting at right now, according to the UN. But Mexico will round it up to like 50,936,262. So they grew very little over the years. They grew barely 1 million over the years because they were sitting at like 80.80 according to the UN. According to the UN, they only grew like they grew under just a million, barely a million for all intents and purposes. And we're going to go back and look at the one stats from before because I don't want nobody saying, well, I cheated and shit like that, because how motherfuckers get, well, you cheated, technically you should have did this and this, that, and the other. Well, we're going to go back and look at that for you, pimp. We're going to go back and look at that for you. There we go. Now we're going to go share the screen again. So they only grew 50 million. Okay, 2017. This is what they had in 2017. 48.9 million. 48.9 million is what they had in 2017. 48.9 million is what they had in 2017. What they got now is only 50 million, which means if you actually go back and do the math, the black community grown exponentially, and at the end of the day, it's very funny to look at that, because at the end of the day, you found out very quickly that you know when somebody's trying to push a narrative, they're really trying to push a narrative very hard. Like they're basically, and the thing about it, no, I'm not knocking him because he's trying to push the stay home, love your black woman narrative, and that's cool. That's cool. That's very cool and all, but If you're going to do that, I'm all about, being fair and balanced and showing you actual facts and shit like that. If you're going to say that, this community is growing exponentially more than the black community, when in fact it's really not, and it's always had more people in it than the black community in the United States had in it, you can't really say that it's growing at a high rate. It's not. It's really not. It's a million to the black people's, 6 million. Like 6 million black people are being literally had in a matter of two and a half, 3 years. We'll say 2 years because the recent one is 2019. We'll say 6 million black people were had in a matter of 2 years, whereas 1 million, barely 1 million were had in a matter of 2 to 3 years of the 2017 census between Colombia and that's for the most part. So I made this video basically because I already know niggas is going to be out here trying to talk shit, and the niggas are already going to try to make a response. So, I kind of figured anyway, fuck it. Always have an ace in the hole. This is my eat a dick video. Have a good one. Actually, it's my respectfully eat a dick video. Have a good one.